Hosanna, sing the praise. Hosanna, Hosanna, feel the love. Hosanna, Hosanna, sing the praise. Hosanna, Hosanna, feel the love. Hosanna, Hosanna, sing the praise. Hosanna, Hosanna, feel the love. Hosanna, Hosanna, sing the praise. Hosanna, Hosanna, feel the love. Hosanna, 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 sing the praise. Hosanna, Hosanna, feel the love. Hosanna, Hosanna, sing the praise. Hosanna, Hosanna, feel the love. Hosanna, Hosanna, feel the love. Hosanna, sing the praise. Hosanna, feel the love.
Thank you. Go choir.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Ogun, your senior minister. I'm so glad you're here today. Please stand as you are able and take the hand of the person next to you. Let's ground ourselves in this sacred place as we sing, Surely the Presence. Let us pray. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place because you are in this place. You, each and every one of you, is the expression, the manifestation, the illumination of the divine. God is in you. God is with you. God is you. And today, as we celebrate together on Palm Sunday, the day where we celebrate the preparation of the awakening of the divine within us, my heart sings with joy to see you, to be in sweet holy communion with you. I give thanks for your presence here today. In you, I see the divine. So it is, so we let it be. Amen. Amen. And you may be seated.
Good morning, everyone. So nice to see you here on Palm Sunday. I'm Reverend Carol Walrazak, and I'll be facilitating the service today with Reverend Ogun Holder. Just to let you know, the children's pageant is this morning, so there's a little different order of service. After we do the Namaste, you will be in for a treat. I'll put it that way. Okay. Unity on the River is a center of celebration, inspiration, transformation, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. Let's hold these truths in our heart as we say together the mission and vision statement. Mission statement. We are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And the vision statement, centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. We'd also like to welcome anyone who is worshiping with us for the first time today. If you could just raise your hand and let us know that you're here. I see someone over here in the back row. One of our ushers, here we go, more people, will bring you a flower and a welcome packet. And in that packet, you'll find a CD that says a little bit more about us and some other information. And after the service, if you could go to hospitality, there's a welcome table, and someone can answer any questions that you might have. Just know that we are so happy that you're here, you bless us, and we welcome all paths to God. We also, let's give them a hand. We had maybe 2 or 3. And meanwhile, we always greet the streamers. So if you could just wave to them. We're streaming from the rear of the sanctuary. We're so happy you're here with us, streamers. You bless us. And we just have one announcement at this point in the service, and that is to remind everyone that today is the last day if you want to order flowers for Easter. Remember, you can do that in honor of a loved one. And what we do is we take the flowers and we decorate the platform, and you can pick them up after the second service on Easter Sunday. Also, to let you know, Denise Dennis is here. She's up in the back if you want to raise your hand, Denise. She is hoping you will fill these out quickly today because she has to leave early to go to work. And she wants to make sure all of the orders get in. And if she's not there, you can leave your order with one of the store staff. And now it's the time in our service when we greet each other in love. We call that Namaste. I behold the Christ in you. I see your divinity. I see your beauty. I see unlimited possibility for you. Let us greet each other in love.
Will Lojack is soloing today. And so is Becca Donahue.
Prepare ye the way of the Lord. 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 Prepare ye the way of the Lord.
Your body is a seed deep in the ground. Even under the snow, you're warm because you're surrounded by the warm soil. You're nice and cozy. You're sleeping. And all around you, nature is sleeping. Imagine you're starting to stir and wiggle and stretch because spring is on the way. All around you, nature is starting to wake up. Other creatures are stirring too. Earthworms are starting to wiggle and move around. Field mice and moles are starting to dig tunnels. You might even hear birds singing above the ground. Spring is on the way. Can you hear the sounds of spring? You're stretching out of your seed now until you become a root, and then a shoot of the root starts to grow. And as it grows, you open your eyes and grow taller and taller until you pop out of the ground. And now you're a beautiful flower, stretching your leaves out to catch the sun. Can you feel the sun shining down on you? You're so happy to be awake and alert that you start dancing with joy. First, your own dance, twirling and swirling, waving your leaves, waving your petals. And then you dance with the other flowers, holding hands, dancing together in a joyous dance of spring. And break apart and dance your own dance again. Waving your flower, being yourself, being happy. Happy spring.
Thank you, everyone. That meditation was created by Sherry.
Pulled from the dark to follow the light. The love from my heart was trapped and tied. When I remember home far from the earth, I walk this land from a spirit's birth, and then I'm free from the fire, free from the pain. Let the light of love live again. Free from the sorrow, free from the shame. Let the light of love live again. From the land where I could forget the magnificent love, the finest gift. Oh, from the light of who I am now, and when I let go, I'm no longer lost, because I'm free from the fire, I'm free from the pain. Let the light of love live again. Free from the sorrow, oh, I'm free from the shame. Let the light of love live again. Ooh, I return to love. Ooh, return to love. Ooh, return to love. Free from the fire, free from the pain. Let the light of love live again. Free from the sorrow, I'm free from the shame. Let the light of love live again. Let the light of love live again. Let the light of love live again.
Hi again. Good morning. Some of you may know this. Before service starts at about 9:30, after the choir and the musicians have warmed up, we pray in together. And we form a circle here on the stage. Today there were so many people, we were like 3 rows back. But we had this circle and we held hands. And I shared this morning that this day, Sunday, not just Palm Sunday, but Sunday is the day I look forward to the most. Sunday is the day that my week revolves around. It's the day that fills me with the most joy. It's also the day that fills me with the most anxiety. And I amended that in the moment to say maybe anticipation is a better word. Because how many of you took the Myers-Briggs? You all know about the Myers-Briggs, right? When I took the Myers-Briggs a few years ago, the introvert-extrovert, I tested like 51% extrovert, 49% introvert. I was right there along the middle. So when Sunday morning comes, the extrovert in me is like, I got to go be with the people. This is the day. And then the introvert is me is like, why do we have to get out of bed? Do we really? So it's this battle, this seesawing within me. I believe some of us all feel that. I believe on Palm Sunday morning, Jesus felt that as well. I believe Jesus was a nail biter. You know how some of us bite our nails when we get anxious? I believe he was a nail biter. And I'm 100% clear that I'm making up 100% of that story. But still, I believe he was. When we read in the book of Matthew, chapter 21, it says, when they had come near Jerusalem and had reached Bethphage at the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, go into the village ahead of you, and immediately you will find a donkey tied and a colt with her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, just say this, the Lord needs them, and he will send them immediately. The disciples went and did as Jesus had directed them. They bought the donkey and the colt, put their cloaks on them. He sat on them. A very large crowd spread their cloaks on the road, and others cut branches from trees and spread them on the road. The crowds that went ahead of him that followed were shouting, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest heaven. So we think of Palm Sunday as this great day of celebration, this triumphal entry, this parade, this people acknowledging Jesus' entry in Jerusalem. But I want to take us back a few hours. A few hours before then, when Jesus stood on the Mount of Olives, looking over Jerusalem, what might he have been feeling? I think there was some anxiety. I think there was some anticipation, because he knew what he was stepping into. Not because he may have had some divine, all-knowing revelation. I think he knew because he had upset everyone. He had upset everyone. He had done all the things to upset the religious authorities of the day. He knew that when he went into Jerusalem, he knew from the moment he would send the disciples to get that donkey, that he would set a series of events into motion. And I think he pretty much knew how those events would end on Good Friday. But there he might have stood in that moment of decision. He might have even been a little scared. And I know we don't want to think of Jesus being scared. You know, when we think of Jesus, especially in unity, as the great example of how we can be when we live fully from our divine self, we think of someone centered in love and peace. But he might have been a little scared. Why not? Why not feel fear? He felt all the other emotions that we feel. Impatience. Anything? There we go. So, I'm sure he felt joy and happiness. He felt happy. His first miracle at the wedding of Cana, when they ran out of wine at the wedding, and at the request of his mother, he turned the water into wine. Why? To keep the party going. Jesus liked to party. I mean, when you think about it, they ran out of wine, so they may have been already a little pretty far gone, if you know what I mean. What did Jesus do? He gave them some more. Got to think about that. Jesus would have also felt anger. Later that week, he would go and drive the money changers out of the temple with a whip. No one whips in glee. They do it in anger, especially in that moment when they had made a mockery of the house of the Lord. The lesson we take from this scene is when someone asks, what would Jesus do? Remind them that flipping over tables and chasing people with whips is a viable option. Yeah. Like some of us, in his human form, Jesus, I'm sure, felt hunger. And like some of us, when he was hungry, he might have gotten, this is the word, a little cranky. Remember when he cursed the fig tree? You know, there's a passage where Jesus is walking down the road and he sees this fig tree doesn't have figs and he curses it and it withers. Like, what was that about? You know, we want to make it into some big philosophical, spiritual lesson. I think he just got cranky. Have y'all never driven up to a Burger King or someplace just as they're locking the doors and you're starving and you're like, you have some few words for the employee at the other side of the door? Well, I did. I'll just speak about myself. Nobody else might have done that. Nobody else might have done that. And he struck fear into the hearts of figs everywhere after that episode. Jesus felt sadness when he learned that his friend Lazarus had died, and Jesus came to the tomb before resurrecting him, before bringing him back to life. The one miracle that truly made the authorities fear him. He wept. He felt the grief and the loss of someone he loved. So if Jesus has felt anger and happiness and sadness, why would he not feel fear, perhaps, as he stood on that mountain about to step into his fate? But here's the thing about fear. Even though I say he might have felt fear, I'll go on a limb and say that Jesus was fearless. And fearless doesn't mean we don't have fear. Ariana Huffington says, fearlessness is the mastery of our fear. The mastery of our fear. We may still have fear, we may still have anger, we may still have these negative emotions, but we do not let them paralyze us. We do not let them stop us from stepping into what is ours to do. We do not let them hold us back from expressing the fullness of our divine nature. That's spiritual mastery. And if there was nothing that Jesus demonstrated on that moment, when he looked, perhaps with a little fear and anticipation, and said to his disciples, "Go get the donkey." In that moment, he mastered the human emotions that were stirring within him. And how do we get into that place of mastery? We do it by tapping into our divine strength. The triumphal entry, where people wave the branches, and we often associate them with palms today. In the Bible, of course, in Unity, we don't necessarily look at the Bible literally, metaphysically. What do palms represent? They represent strength. Within us is a divine strength from which we can draw to walk us through any situation. As we unfold that spiritual consciousness within us, it often puts us in some interesting situations that may bring up the human emotions of fear, doubt. But within us is a divine strength that is greater than any of these emotions. That's what the palm represents. So he enters Jerusalem. Jerusalem represents a place of peace, a higher place of peace, a higher consciousness of peace. When we are in the turmoil and the anxiety of what's going on in our lives, we look to Jerusalem. We look to that place of divine peace within us. And we get there with the inner strength. And throughout that week, Holy Week as we call it, series of events that further demonstrate and reflect our own path of unfolding. Oops, let's go back one. The Last Supper. We call it the Last Supper. They didn't call it the Last Supper. They were celebrating Passover. If you don't know about Passover, the Passover tradition started when the children of Israel were in Egypt. This is like back to Moses' time. And the plagues had come upon Egypt, and that final plague was the angel of death to take away all the firstborn. And in order to avoid the firstborn of the Israelites being killed, they painted lamb's blood over the doorpost so the angel would pass over them. And that's how the celebration of Passover every year started since then. So they celebrated Passover because it was that time. That was the main reason they were going to Jerusalem at that time, to celebrate Passover. What does that represent within us? Because when we start off on this spiritual work, this spiritual journey, there's an old consciousness within us, the old consciousness of fear, the old consciousness of what the ego wants. That consciousness doesn't want to go away. It hangs on like nails on a chalkboard, saying, don't change, don't change. But we do. We draw on our inner strength and we do change. And that's what the Passover represents, that shifting of our consciousness from the old way to the new way. I don't know about you guys, I'll speak for myself. That only sounds easy on paper. Yeah. Letting go of the old is so difficult sometimes. We have these thoughts that don't go away. I had a funny experience yesterday. So I was at the gym, I was at Planet Fitness, and this is a new branch that I went to for the first time in Newburyport. And I'll back up by saying, I grew up in a very traditional Christian experience, one that was very fear-based, one that the only reason you were in this journey was to prepare yourself for the afterlife, prepare yourself for one day when Jesus might return. And you don't know when that might be. So you better keep yourself in line all the time. It was a very fearful way to live, and it was so embedded within me. I talk about that embedded theology, that embedded consciousness. And no matter how much spiritual work we do moving forward, the seeds of it are still there. So I was at Planet Fitness, and I'm on the elliptical thing. No, I was on the treadmill. So I'm running, and I got my phone in front of me, and I'm watching something. And I'm running, and there, there's a bunch of people around doing their own thing, and I'm running, and I look up, and suddenly I am the only one there. And I'm like, oh my God, did the rapture just happen? What? Like, that was seriously my first thought. Because like a minute before, there were like 20 people, and then all of a sudden, nobody. I didn't see anybody walk out. I guess I was so engrossed. The place closed at 7. I didn't know that because some other gyms stay open late. But, I was like, oh my, where did everybody go? It freaked me out. But I was able to laugh. Why was that the first thought? Why? Because the old thoughts, the old consciousness, the old beliefs, they're still way back down in there. And you never know what's going to trigger them. Never know what's going to trigger them. That's the passing over. Getting into that new consciousness and staying there. After the Last Supper, he finds himself also in the Garden of Gethsemane, the place where in such anguish he prays, if it be thy will, Lord, take this cup away from me. If that's not somebody saying, I see what is before me. I see the next step on this journey. And if there's an out, I'll take it. Yeah. He was in that place. That's the inner struggle to release the old. That's what that's about. That's what that represents within us. A lot of struggle. It will lead to his betrayal. And by the way, you got to come Good Friday. We have a Good Friday service at 7 p.m. that is kind of going to pick up where this story left off. After the garden, we have Judas's betrayal. And, we always, give Judas a bad rap for what he did, And there's many theories as to what he did. I believe that part of what Judas was doing was, trying to give Jesus like a little nudge into his greatness. Perhaps if we get him backed into a corner, he will have no choice to reveal the fullness of who he is. But Judas kind of got it confused. The fullness of Jesus was not to overthrow the Romans and bring Israel back into power. That's not what he was about. So what does that say for us metaphysically? What does Judas represent in us? Judas is one of our 12 powers. But one of the things that Judas represents also in this situation is when the ego tries to sabotage ourselves as we raise our consciousness, as we step into the fullness of our divine, as we embark on what is truly ours to do. For some of you, it may be the thought of, I've been in this job for 30 years, and if I hang in for a little bit more, there's that big old retirement package, but you know what? My heart wants to do something else. And we self-sabotage ourselves from our greatness. That's what Judas represents here in this story, particularly. And on Good Friday, we're going to pick up where this leaves off. Talk about Jesus' trial and his crucifixion and what that means within us. And then, of course, you're all going to be here next Sunday because it's Easter Sunday. When you think about the arc of this story, it started kind of great with the parade and the celebration. And it ends kind of great with Easter morning, the resurrection, the new beginning, the awakening. But in between, that's when the good stuff happens. And you're thinking, what? But that's when the work's done. That's when the transformation happens. The transformation didn't happen on Easter morning. Easter morning was the result of the transformation that happened on Good Friday, that happened on the days leading up to Good Friday, that happened in the moment back on that mountain when Jesus said, I will step forward into this. That's what we all get to do. We get to step forward into what is ours to do. Step forward into that calling of spirit. Step forward into what the divine would have us do and have us be. And there will be some dark times, but I guarantee you there's also going to be an Easter morning. And it's going to look awesome. And you are going to be awesome. And you're going to look back and say to yourselves, why did I ever doubt? Why did I ever doubt? So my invitation to you this week, first, come to Wednesday night service. Second, if you're not part of the Untethered Soul book study, come to that too. Okay? Friday, come to Good Friday service. It's going to be an artistic extravaganza. We're going to have music, there's poetry, there's all kinds of things happening. So come to Good Friday service at 7 p.m. But if you don't make it any of these, and even if you do, in your heart of hearts this week, truly sit with that question, what is mine to do? And then dig deep and connect with that divine strength within you and say yes to stepping into it. Yes to stepping forward. Yes to leaving that Mount of Olives and walking into your Jerusalem. Let's take this into meditation.
My wings were heavy could not fly, haunted by dreams that were meant to come true. Love was there, I could not see it, so the voice of salvation came shining through you, and you said, God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be.
Indeed, God is all there is. So if you haven't done so, and if you're comfortable, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Sit back in your chairs, feeling them support you. Allow the body to relax. And allow your attention to focus on your breath. Simply breathe and allow all your thoughts to focus on the movement of the air, in, through, and out. Allow the breath to bring us into this moment, fully present. With each breath, allow the body to relax even more. With each breath, allow the heart space to open, that heart, that symbolic center of our being. The heart center is the divine nature of who we are. And it is from that divine nature we pull the strength. The strength to say yes to what is ours to do. The strength to say yes to being an expression of the divine. The strength to show up as God. The strength to be the fullness of who we were meant to be. If there is nothing else that is ours to do, it's to be that expression of God in every moment, of every hour, of every day. So as we breathe even deeper, as we allow ourselves to slip into that place of the silence, we affirm together, I am divine strength. To ourselves silently, I am divine strength. We sit in the silence. I am divine strength. And from this divine strength, I go forth to be divine peace. I am divine peace. In the midst of every circumstance, every situation, I am divine strength. I am divine peace. As we focus our attention on the names in this prayer box, we hold for them that they too remember, awaken, come to that realization that they don't simply have the strength, they are the strength. They are the peace. And should there be others for whom you would also like to hold that intention, simply say their names out loud. For those names and the names in the box, and for everyone, we hold that intention. And in holding that intention, we see them and remember them as expressions of the divine, strong, at peace, whole. This is the week of wholeness. This is Holy Week.
If your wings are heavy and you cannot fly, haunted by dreams that were meant to come true, God is there. You just have to see it. Let the voice of salvation come shining through you when you say, God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be.
Let's remember that God is all there is. Yeah. We should have just sung that all morning. Yeah. That's what it comes down to, remembering that, living that, being that. God is all there is. At this time, we have an opportunity to share of our abundance, share of the God that is abundance in our lives with our tithes and our offerings. So as you prepare that, I want to acknowledge that we have prayer chaplains with us today. If they won't mind standing, please, if they're able. The prayer chaplains are here to pray with you after service. Should it be a prayer of concern or even a prayer of celebration, of gratitude, someone to connect with, they're here. And we thank them for their service today. So let us share our tithe and offerings blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And we have someone to share today what unity means to me. Meg, are you ready? Come on up.
Good morning, everybody. Namaste. I stand in the presence. Namaste. I want to talk about the art and practice of living with no one and nothing against you, against me. I mean, it may not be against you, but I've always felt it was against me. And, I've been doing shadow work for over 20 years in my own life and growth, and as a spiritual being having a physical experience in my other life when I'm not here. I'm a body-centered process leader. I'm a massage therapist, and I work with people to help them rid themselves of trauma and grief and anger and pain. And I've done a lot of work. And about a year and a half ago, I've been coming to this church for 16 years and singing here, and I'm very grateful for that. And then, to do some of the class work has been, a great blessing to me, and particularly this class, the art and practice. I mean, Annie Holton is an amazing teacher, leader, mentor for how to be vulnerable and go through this course, which is very challenging. We live with our egos in service to something, and if it's not God, it's our fear, right? And waiting for that other shoe to drop and all of that. This class was very challenging, but also simple. It was about making a card that had the highest and best attributes of those people or spiritual beings that I as an individual saw and wanted to embody in myself. To help me be on card meant, for me, someone like Hildegard von Bingen is a spiritual singer. She was back in the 14th, 13th century, 12th maybe, and she lived God through her voice. And I thought, oh, that's a person, and Martin Luther King, and all these other people, Eleanor Roosevelt. So to be on card and to, when you're in traffic, and you're angry at that person that pulled out at you, to rather than doing the reaction, to be on card and to have these simple techniques and use the worksheets. Well, anyway, it was transformative in my life. It has helped me. I highly recommend it, and I hope you'll join so many of us that have taken it. If you haven't, it's coming up again, and I'll just end by saying Unity's changed me. I'm forever grateful. I'm more the God self that I hope to be, and will always be working towards, because I'm a unitic. Thank you.
We talk about this stuff sounds good on paper, but how do we actually do it? The art and practice of nothing and no one is against you is one of these, how we do it. how we do it, the practical aspects of how we allow ourselves to be in the situations of life and show up as the divine. So I think we're still passing some baskets around here. But while we're doing that, I'm going to jump ahead and give you the other announcement that I was going to give later because I'm remembering it now. If we wait till later, I might forget. Okay, so you'll see a slide later, but I might as well just take care of it now. We have a dance coming up, okay? And this falls under the umbrella of you asked, we listened. And some of you said, we need to do more fun stuff. We need to get together. Celebration's not just for Sunday morning. We need to have some fun. How about a dance? So we're going to have a dance, okay? I am a horrible dancer, okay? I'm a pretty decent rapper, as you saw at the thing, but I'm a horrible dancer. No, don't ask me to dance, John. Don't ask me to jump. No. My entire wedding reception experience was stepping on the edge of my wife's dress, and it was cute at first, but by the 14th time, I was like, I don't know if you're gonna make day 2 of this marriage, because she was not happy. But it's about having fun. It's about celebrating together. It's about having a good time. So this dance, the Gratitude for Spring Fling, May 1st, okay? It's $40, and there's gonna be, of course, a dance. There's gonna be lots of music. I believe there's food too. Is a dinner and dance. Dinner and, not or, and. Dinner and dance. So you come dance, you go eat, fuel up some more, and then come back on the dance floor. This is about having fun together and celebrating each other. So get your tickets, get them early, be here for that. Come see me dance horribly. I will make an embarrassment out of myself. I have no problem doing that. I gave up the shame button a long time ago. So if you really want to come see that, come see that. May 1st. And where do we get tickets? Call the office. Get tickets from the office. In the bookstore. Listen, I just show up where they tell me to, okay? I don't know everything. I don't know everything. But in the bookstore, get your tickets, get them quick, get them fast. Come dance with me on May 1st. Let's bless the offering. Is that yours or mine? Oh, that's mine. Thank you. So for these gifts, these reflection of the unlimited abundance that we are as Unity on the River, we give thanks knowing that they go forward and will be used to shine the light that we are even brighter and even further. And so it is, and so let it be. Amen. All yours, Carol.
We have a few celebrations and invitations, and I'll do a lot today because we won't have any at the 2 services on Easter. Okay, just a reminder, the Wednesday Samadhi service coming up this Wednesday with Reverend Ogun. Hope you'll be there at 7. Book study, The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself. This is a class where you can drop in. There's no special love offering, but if you'd like to give a love offering, that would be fine. And it goes from 7 to 8:30. And I understand it is streamed. Yes. Okay. Also, just going over the Lenten schedule, Good Friday service right here at 7 o'clock. It's going to be a treat. And Easter Sunday services, there are 2, one at 9 and one at 11. So I wanted to tell you there is child care at 9. 11 is the regular youth and family. All of these services will be streamed. And we would like to have hospitality on Easter and have 2, one after the 9 and one after the 11. So if your last name begins with A through F, we'd really appreciate your bringing in some food. But we would just open that up to everybody because we're apt to have a lot of people here Easter Sunday. Another reminder, Conscious Conversations, and Reverend Ogun will speak more to this probably next Sunday, that we are, instead of a community meeting, we're asking people to come and meet in small groups. We're asking our chaplains to facilitate these groups, and you'll hear more about that, chaplains. And it's an opportunity for people to have a voice as to the future and how we grow as a community. So stay tuned for that. Chaplain training, the last Sunday to sign up is Easter Sunday, and this is taking place. I am the lead chaplain here, so I coordinate it, but we have about 6 other teachers. Right now we have 9 people signed up, and the sign up is in the hospitality room, and feel free to ask any of our chaplains questions about that. If anybody here also wants to kind of refresh their chaplain skills, that's another open invitation to prior chaplains, but you should sign up just so I know how many are coming. There's that class, The Art and Practice of Nothing and No One Against You. I did want to point out, we have 2 wonderful Annies here, Annie Houghton and Annie Breyer. This happens to be Annie Breyer, who's not with us this weekend, but there's a sign up in hospitality for that as well. Metaphysics 4, Reverend Ogun is beginning another class May 9th and May 16th, a Saturday. Lots of information if you want more out in hospitality. And we have a wonderful class starting with Christina Mariah. She's our Director of Youth and Family, but I don't know if you know it, she's also a visual artist. And she is going to work with people on painting your chakras. Again, there's a sign up for this. Christina should be around after service if you have questions, and there's more information provided. Also, before I say thank you to some people, I want to let you know the children are going to stay in Youth and Family, so parents, could you pick them up there after service? So we're so grateful for everyone. I want to just say, always, the altar ministry always does a beautiful job. Thank you. And Maura, and the band, and the choir, thank you. And in the back, Mickey on PowerPoint, and Linda on streaming, and I know Brian is on sound. I don't see him. He disappeared, but oh, there he is! Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And he's going to be doing our big song in just a minute. But I also wanted the Board of Trustees to stand up just so people can get acquainted with who you are. Thank you for being here. Please see these beautiful souls if you have any questions. And now it's time.
It's time, Carol? Come on, Brian. It's time. It's time for the dead and gone. It's time for the broken ones to live again. It's time for the dead to rise. It's time for the wings to fly, to live again. I can hear the calling, I can hear the sound of rain. Over the mountains and over the valleys, I hear the calling, and it's time. Over the mountains and over the valleys, I hear the calling, and it's time. It's time for the dead to sing. It's time for the walls to ring with songs of freedom. It's time for the numb to feel. It's time for the wounds to heal with songs of freedom. Oh, I can hear the calling, I can hear the sound of rain. Over the mountains and over the valleys, I hear the calling, and it's time. Over the mountains and over the valleys, I hear the calling, and it's time. You guys sound good today. Oh, it's time for the tide to burn. It's time for our hearts to burn with a desperation. It's time for a sacrifice. It's time that we paid the price for our generation. I can hear the calling. I can hear the sound of rain. Over the mountains and over the valleys, I hear the calling, and it's time. Over the mountains and over the valleys, I hear the calling, and it's time. Take a key. One more time, make it big. Over the mountains and over the valley, I hear the calling, and it's
Very good. Okay, we're going to stay standing and sing our peace song. All right.
God as creator,
protection. The light of God surrounds us. We have the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We have the love of God. I miss the children doing this with me. I'm just realizing that. The power of God protects us. We have the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We have the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and we are richly blessed. Have a great day.
Maybe briefly. I will be there this Tuesday because we're doing the fundraiser for the
What is the fundraiser?
I'm the president of Thanks for Partying originally.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
So Tuesday we're having a fundraiser. And by the way, I had a big interview with the newspaper, so tomorrow the Daily News will let me like front page about
I have a little change jar, not a little one, a big coffee can in my kitchen that says pennies for poverty on it. When it gets full, yeah, it gets delivered. So yeah, it's wonderful. And I've been to some of the events that we used to have at Haley's Ice Cream. There used to be events.
I know, yeah. We couldn't track. The problem with the ice cream place is, they have tip jars for the workers, and it's just, we're like, I don't want to listen to it. But we're doing one at the Flatbread tomorrow on Tuesday. At Amesbury. So you just come and order a pizza and something money goes to us. We'll see you.
Work to do. Back to work. On Sundays. Anyway, Michael, we did an application. Fundraising. Friends of the library up in Hampton.
Oh, yeah.
It worked out very nice. They were very conscious of it.
Yeah, this is it.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, they do it every Tuesday around, a year.
Every Tuesday.
Yeah, for a different town. We can only do it once a year, but they have. And a lot of people apply for it. So we're in there once a year cycle.
That's a big store.
What kind of a percentage do they do?
I think it's based on the pizza. The large pizza, they give us like $3.25. And it doesn't have to be, it can be takeout too.
Yeah.
The small one, I think, is $1.25. But the point is that you don't get anything for anything else. You can order a salad or you order a drink. Just pizza. Last year, it depends on the time of year, because in the summer they have outdoor thing, they have more people. So in the summer event, you can get maybe 500. But in this one, it'll be more like 250. But we'll do and it's also fun. The thing is, not just we're raising money, but also we're socializing. It's still lousy weather, and we're glad to see each other. We get salads and talk to each other.
Big thaw. I'll try to get by Tuesday.
Yeah, from anytime from 5 to 9. And I'll be at the door Sunday night, so just make sure
I will.
remind you. What's your name?
Diane.